Soon after Yellowstone became a national park in 1872, it was apparent they needed an eastern gateway across the Absaroka Range to Bighorn Basin. This would necessitate a bridge across the Yellowstone River. John Barnett, Yellowstone Jack, built the first bridge across the Yellowstone in 1871, but it wasn't designed to handle the kind of traffic the park was seeing. After the city of Cody was founded in 1896, surveyors plotted the route through Sylvan Pass to the northern shores of Yellowstone Lake. The first bridge was built right at the turn of the century and completed in 1902. The road between the eastern park entrance and the bridge was infamous for landslides and snowdrifts, and the famous Corkscrew Bridge. Critical cutthroat spawning grounds made this a popular place to fish, and by 1914 people began calling this fishing bridge. Weather is extreme in this region, and the first bridge succumbed to flood and ice damage. It was replaced in 1919, aptly called the second bridge. The 20s was a boom time for Yellowstone, but there was a shortage of formal camping areas. Moreover, the national park needed lower-cost accommodations. A large area just east of the bridge was selected, and by 1930, Fishing Bridge was the largest and most popular camping area in the park. The second bridge lasted about the same number of years as the first, and was replaced by the current log and concrete structure with pedestrian walkways in 1937. Cars changed everything, specifically the mass production of cars and the moving assembly line invented by Ford in 1913. The 20s were a golden age for road building, beginning with the Federal Highway Act of 1921. In 1924, Rand McNally published its first road atlas, and in 1926, the first network of numbered interstate highways was established. In 1926, Marvin Fenn married into a family that already had ties to Yellowstone. His in-laws, the Simpsons, were running their seasonal cabin camp in West Yellowstone. Marvin and Lilly joined in this national movement of cross-country road trips and began summering in Yellowstone in the late 20s. Forrest spent his summers in Yellowstone. These trips began with a 1,600-mile journey driven at 35 miles per hour to save gas and tires. There was no air conditioning and no car radios. Marvin was organized, mapped out their route, and they always stayed at the same places on their journey. The road system was primitive. Many roads were unpaved. There were no lights outside of cities, and signage was rare. The Fenn's route took them through Raton Pass and its infamous double horseshoe curve. Forrest described one particular journey. My mom was scared of Raton Pass. It's 4 lanes on I-25 now, but then it was just an unpaved road. One time we arrived at the pass at night and the headlights on our car went out. It really bothered my mom when my dad stopped the car in the middle of the road and got out with a flashlight to look under the hood. I don't remember how that problem was solved, but I sure remember my mother's reaction. Another waypoint Forrest remembers distinctly was a 2-story hotel in Chugwater, Wyoming. They would arrive after dark, and young Forrest remembers a detail that would matter to a small child. There were no lights in the stairs, so we had to walk up in the dark. In later years, I used to fly low over that little hotel and rock my wings in salute. It was boarded up and looked like a derelict. Forrest was very young when his family began camping at Fishing Bridge, but he remembers there were tents everywhere and lots of kids to play with. I have fond memories of Fishing Bridge and camping around on the lake just a short distance away. There were hundreds of tents, and at night everyone had a fire and sat around talking. One night, when I was very little, I wandered away from our tent and got lost. I was really crying, and someone was able to take me back to my parents. I didn't wander off again. Sometimes the whole family would head out into the woods to pick raspberries. There were huge fields of wild fruit, and everyone filled buckets. The kids competed to see who could gather the most. And of course, they fished. One time a ranger went around to each tent asking about how many fish each family had caught. There was a limit, and he was checking and counting. I asked him to come and check my father's fish. I didn't want my father to be left out. Marvin would trade what they couldn't eat. The water under Fishing Bridge is at least 10 to 12 feet deep and so clear that you could see lots of fish swimming around, but that didn't mean you could catch them. And the water was too cold to swim in. You could last about 10 minutes and had to get out. Many of the cars in those days had soft tops. You never left food in your car because the bears could smell it and they climbed up on top. They could sink through the roof and get the food. The bears were a problem. Everyone had big fires at night just outside their tents. In 37 or 38, the Fenns began staying in West Yellowstone instead of camping at Fishing Bridge. But the memories live on. Some have even proposed that Forrest hid his treasure chest at those campgrounds, or very nearby. In a few days, a group will gather at Fishing Bridge and honor this place and Forrest's remembrances of it from more than 80 years ago. It's one of the sacred places he's left behind. He's given it to us.